Hello students, myself Kuldeep Sen, and today I am preparing the video for the students of class 10th mathematics. The students in the mathematics, the most important chapter that will be a quadratic equation. Quadratic equation is a chapter that is used till the in the JEE mains. That means 11, 12 and JEE mains. You will read this chapter in very deeply on it. Okay, so and today start the topic that is quadratic equation. First of all, what is quadratic equation and where are you going to use this? This chapter remains the important in the JEE mains as well. So first of all, let me define this chapter. Definition says all about it, what we need to consider in this topic. This chapter you also read in the class chapter second, that is a polynomial. In the chapter second polynomial, you will see this quadratic polynomial, but in this chapter this is the quadratic equation. There is a slightly difference between the equation and the polynomial. Okay, let me first define the chapter. What is a quadratic equation? So quadratic equation is a second order second order polynomial equation. Polynomial equation is called quadratic equation. It is the definition of the quadratic equation. Definition says all about this chapter. Okay, so let me first describe what is the quadratic equation. What will be the quadratic equation? That is ax square bx plus c, that is equal to 0. You already seen this equation in the chapter polynomial, but in the chapter polynomial you will see you have c only x square plus bx plus c. It is not equal to 0. Okay, so 0 describe, that means the roots of the equation. Okay, so it is all there is always a point which is a is not equal to 0. If a is equal to 0, then the equation becomes linear equation. Okay, so it must be a necessary condition, that is ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Here what are the ABC? So let me first uh, describe about the ABC. Here ABC are the, here a, b and c are the real number. Sometimes students are confused about the sir, what is the value between the a b c what we taken. That means you have to take either positive or negative or any other zero, but you can't take the square root. Okay, you cannot take the square root as the a b c. And if a is equal to 0, then the equation becomes a linear equation. So it is necessary that a should not be the 0. Okay. Mm, mm. Uh, some things, again, it is important conditions. One most condition which appears in the Olympiad sections also. Let if a is equal to 0, then if let me guess, if what is the become if a equal to 0. If a equal to 0, then it must be a linear equation, that is bx plus c equal to 0, and the value of x is equal to minus c upon b. It is the necessary condition about it. Okay, so if a equal to 0, then bx plus c equal to 0 and x equal to minus c upon b. We will talk about the second condition also. In the second condition, let me if any students take the if any student take, sir, if what will be the happen if a and c is equal to 0. What will be happen if A and C is equal to 0? Then the equation in the equation B is equal to 0 and the roots are x equal to 0 point b. So that means that then it is the roots. Then there is a roots is equal to other infinite roots. So it belongs to the value of 1, 2, 3, 1, many more. कुछ भी value हो सकती है. Okay. Uh, Condition number third. Let me describe the condition number third. What will happen if what will happen if A is equal to B is equal to C is equal to 0? What will be happen if all the ABCs are the 0? Then it must be a infinite, infinite many roots. And then the roots of the equations are the infinite many roots. There is no any particular solution of the equation. Okay, it is must the condition. You always remember all the three conditions. Sometime in the NTSC or IGSO, it must be it may be appear repeatedly. Okay, it may be appear repeatedly. Okay, so after that we will talk about these are the condition of the A, B, and C equal to 0. Now, I'm talking about the solution of the quadratic equation. Okay, solution of the quadratic equation you already seen in the chapter number second. That is, there are the factor method and Sridharacharya method and the completing square method. Okay, so we will talk about the before starting the solution of the quadratic equation. I'm just want to talk about the graph of the quadratic equation. Let me discuss about the graph of the quadratic equation. Okay, here the important term is A. If if A is greater than 0, let me ask if A is greater than 0, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, then the graph of the polynomial, sorry, then the graph of the quadratic equation becomes upward. Okay, and it is always remembered as the upward parabola. Upward parabola. Listen, if A is greater than 0, it should be noted that the graph of the quadratic equation always a parabola. Remember, always a parabola. It should be upward, it may be downward, and it may be it is cutted in the x-axis or should not cut it in any x-axis. Okay, if A is greater than 0, then it is should be upper in the upper parabola. And if A is less than 0, then if A is less than 0, then the graph of the quadratic equation is downward parabola. What is the equation? Downward parabola. Downward parabola. Okay, please downward parabola. So, if A is greater than 0, then it should be cutted by the 2 point. Then there are the two roots of the equation. There are two roots of the equation. Always remember the degree of the equation, any of the that is linear, quadratic, cubic, any of the linear equation. Okay. The highest power is called degree, and the degree should be described about the solution of the equation. So the degree is 2, that means there are two solutions. If the degree is 3, then it is mean there are three solutions. If the degree is a 4, then there are four solutions. Here, quadratic equation, the degree of the equation is 2, so there must be a two solution of the equation. And these are the graph of the quadratic equation, that means the upper parabola and downward parabola. I think it should be remembered. So, discuss about the second thing. Discuss about the second thing. Now, if A is greater than 0, if A is greater than 0, and there are two roots of the equation, then it must be a upward parabola. Now now upward parabola gives the maximum or minimum value which should be taken, that is maximum or minimum value. If it is upward parabola, that means a is greater than 0, then there must be a minimum value of the equation. It is called, what is called? It is called always a vertex. What is vertex? The minimum point of the parabola. Okay. It is the minimum point of the parabola. And what is the it point? It point should be noted as the minus b upon 2a and minus ka d upon 4a. All the things are all the things should be proved in this topic also. Okay, these are things are the proof in the quadratic formula, that is ax square plus bx plus c. We can prove also. Okay, but here we only talk about there are two roots, that is alpha and that is beta. It is alpha and beta. Okay, now if it should be touches only a point, that means the roots are equal. That means the roots are equal, then it must be a minus b upon 2a, minus b upon 2a, and what is the value of the, again, minus d upon 4a. But there are only solutions like alpha equal to beta. There are two solutions and these solutions are always equal. And the third thing is, if parabola not touches the x-axis, then there is should be no roots of the equation. Okay, no root of the equation. Done. So after that, we will talk about the solution of the quadratic equation. There are three methods to solve quadratic equation. First thing, that is you always remember, that is factor method. Factor method you already do in the solution in the chapter second. Second thing is the quadratic Sridharacharya formula, या quadratic formula. And the third thing is completing square method. Okay. Completing square method. We will talk about in this next video. Okay. Thank you.